Right here, everybody wants success, but ain't nobody ready to face the truth. Most of the time, it ain't the world stopping you. It's, whoa, what if the only thing standing between you and your greatness was the person in the mirror? Right here, no excuses, no shortcuts, it's reality. You think it's luck, you think it's circumstances, but nah, it's discipline, mindset, and the grind. Right here, so ask yourself, right now, what if why you were the only one holding yourself back? When you wake up every single day, you've got two choices. You can point your finger at the world and say it's holding you back. Right here, or you can look at yourself and admit you've been playing small, you've been letting excuses run your life, and you've been hiding behind reasons instead of results. Blaming feels easy, blaming feels safe. Right here, but blaming never builds muscle, blaming never stacks success, blaming never takes you to the level you claim you want to reach. I've seen too many people waste years pointing at someone else, saying the system ain't fair. Right here, the boss don't like me, the economy's down, my family didn't support me, my body hurts, I don't have time, I don't have energy, I don't have money, I don't have luck, I don't have connections. Right here. But you know what they all got in common? They got a mouth full of excuses and a life full of regret because they never stopped blaming and started owning. Ownership means you take every result in your life, whether you wanted it or not, and you hold it in your hands and say, this is mine, I built this, I created this, maybe not intentionally, but through my choices, through my actions, through my effort, through my discipline. Right here, or through my lack of it. If your body's weak, own it. If your bank account is in, own it. If your dreams are stuck in your head instead of reality, own it. If your relationships are broken, own it. When you own it, right here, you put the power back in your hands, because if you caused it, you can change it. And if you built it, you can rebuild it. But as long as you blame, you hand your power away to everyone else, you're giving your boss your power. Well, you're giving the government power. You're giving the government your power. You're giving the weather your power. You're giving your childhood your power. You're giving your friends your power, and you wonder why you feel weak. Right here, you wonder why you feel stuck. You wonder why you feel like no matter how much you want it, it never happens. Because you're not carrying your power. You've been handing it out like free samples. Right here, letting everybody else dictate how your story goes. Stop blaming, start owning. Because the moment you decide you're responsible for everything in your life, here you also decide you're capable of changing everything in your life. And yeah, ownership hurts at first, it burns. Because it means you got to look in the mirror and admit the truth you've been running from. Hey, you've been lazy, you've been inconsistent, you've been unfocused, you've been scared, you've been procrastinating, you've been wishing instead of working, you've been dreaming instead of doing. Here, you've been talking about tomorrow while wasting today. Nobody wants to admit that, nobody wants to swallow that pill. But champions don't hide from the truth. Champions swallow the truth, and then they lift heavier. They run harder, grind longer, because they know the only person standing in their way is themselves. Stop blaming, start owning, because ownership creates freedom. When you own your time, you realize you can structure it better. You can cut the hours of scrolling. You can turn Netflix into work sets. You can wake up early. You can go to bed later. You can train your focus. You can build momentum. When you own your health, here, you realize it's not bad genetics. It's not bad luck. It's the choices you've been making day after day, meal after meal, workout after skipped workout. You're either feeding your weakness or feeding your strength. When you own your mind, you stop letting negative thoughts live rent free in your head. You stop blaming stress, stop blaming pressure, stop blaming fear. Here, you own the fact that you've been rehearsing the worst outcomes instead of training your mind to see the best ones. Ownership is mental reps. Right here, ownership is choosing the hard thoughts that build resilience instead of the soft ones that keep you fragile. When you own your finances, you stop blaming the economy. You stop blaming the government. Hey, here, you stop blaming the job market. You admit that you've been spending more than you've been investing. You've been consuming instead of creating. You've been living for instant gratification instead of long-term reward. And the day you own it is the day you finally shift from broke mindset to wealth mindset, not because of luck, but because of discipline, consistency, and grind. Stop blaming, start owning. Right here. Because excuses might protect your ego, but they will never protect your future. Every time you say it's not my fault, you build another wall around your potential. You trap yourself inside a prison you built. A prison of right here, a prison of reasons, a prison of maybes, a prison of could have beens. And the craziest part, the key to that prison is in your pocket, but you keep waiting for someone else to come and free you. No one's coming. Here, not your friend, not your family, not your boss, not your government, not luck, not fate, not destiny. You're the only one coming. The moment you stop blaming and start owning, right here, you unlock the door and step out into the real grind, the real path, the real process that builds real results. And yeah, it's heavy, it's uncomfortable, it's painful, it's lonely sometimes, But it's also the only path that works. Look at the greats. Every single one of them owned their failures before they owned their victories. They didn't say life was unfair. They said life was theirs to shape. They didn't say I can't because. They said I must, so I will. They didn't say I wish. They said I work. You want to transform your body, your mind, your career, your relationships, right here. Your destiny, stop blaming, start owning, because until you accept that you're the reason you're behind, you'll never step into being the reason you rise. And the moment you own it, that's when things change. Right here, that's when you flip the switch. That's when discipline replaces excuses, action replaces hesitation, resilience replaces fear, and success replaces regret. Your limits live in your head. They don't live in the world here. They don't live in your body. They don't live in your circumstances. They don't live in the people around you. They live in the stories you tell yourself every single day and the cages you build out of fear, doubt. Here in hesitation, most people don't fail because life was too heavy. Most people fail because they convinced themselves it was too heavy before they ever tried to lift it. Right here, they convinced themselves it was impossible before they ever gave it one real shot. They convinced themselves they were too weak, too small, too late, too unprepared, too unlucky, too different, too far behind. Right here, and all those words became walls in their mind, walls that they never tried to break because they believed they were made of steel when in reality they were made of paper. Every great champion, every great success story, right here, every unstoppable force that you look up to started with a mind full of two, but the difference is they questioned those limits, they pushed those limits, they broke those limits right here, and they realized the only chains that were holding them down were the ones they put on themselves. Your brain is designed to protect you. It tells you stop when you feel pain. Right here, it tells you don't go further because it thinks you're in danger. It whispers this is too much because it wants comfort, it wants safety, it wants survival. But greatness doesn't come from survival. Right here, greatness comes from expansion, and expansion feels like danger. Expansion feels like pain. Expansion feels like your body and mind screaming, no, when the truth is you still have more. You still have fuel in the tank. Right here, you still have untapped potential waiting to be unleashed. Think about it when you're working out and you feel like you've hit failure. Most of the time, your body still has 30 to 40% left right here. But your mind tells you to quit because it hates discomfort. That same principle applies to everything in your life. You think you can't work longer? You think you can't study harder? You think you can't save more right here? You think you can't push past heartbreak? You think you can't endure rejection? You think you can't handle the grind? But the truth is you can. The truth is your limits are lying to you here. And you've been believing the lies so long that they feel like reality. The human mind has infinite potential, but most people live in a box so small they can't even stretch their arms, not because the box is real, but because they drew the walls themselves. Every time you say, I can't, you're carving those walls deeper. Every time you say, I'm not ready, you're stacking bricks higher. Every time you say, maybe someday, right here, you're sealing yourself in a tomb of excuses. But the day you realize your limits are mental is the day you realize they're breakable. The day you realize they're flexible, right here, the day you realize they're illusions built from fear and repetition. Think about all the people who did the impossible, athletes who broke world records, scientists who discovered breakthroughs here, entrepreneurs who built empires from nothing, survivors who walked out of tragedy stronger than ever. Do you think they were born without limits? No, they had the same doubts, the same voices, the same chains, right here. But they refused to let those voices dictate their destiny. They told their minds to shut up. They pushed one more rep. They tried one more time. They believed when nobody else believed. And right here, and that's why they made history. Instead of excuses, your limits live in your head, and the only way to break them is to stop listening to the comfort zone voice and start listening to the growth zone voice. Comfort zone says stop here. Growth zone says go further. Comfort zone says you're tired. Growth zone says you've just started. Comfort zone says don't risk it. Growth zone says risk is the price of reward. Right here, comfort zone, growth zone says you're not enough. Growth zone says you're more than enough if you're willing to grind. When you shift from listening to the voice of fear to listening to the voice of strength, here, you start unlocking pieces of yourself you didn't know were there. You realize you're not weak, you've just been undertrained. You're not behind, you've just been holding the brakes. You're not unlucky, right here. You've just been living below your potential. Every time you challenge a limit, it cracks. Every time you step into the unknown, it bends. Every time you go past what you thought was possible, you expand your reality here. And the craziest part is once you break one limit, your whole perspective shifts because you start asking, what else have I been lying to myself about? What else did I say I couldn't do that I actually can? Right here, what else have I been shrinking away from that I should be charging toward? Your body follows your mind. Your results follow your mind. Your destiny follows your mind, and if your mind is chained, right here, everything else will be chained too. But if your mind is free, everything else will follow that freedom. That's why people who master their mindset seem unstoppable, because they've realized the battle was never outside. Right here, it was always inside. It was never about the weights in the gym. It was about the limit. It was never about the size of the obstacle. It was about the size of belief. It was never about the hand they were dealt. Right here, it was about how they played it. And if you've been living small, if you've been living stuck, if you've been living scared, you've got to understand it's not the world that's caging you. It's your own thoughts. Right now, you're the guard, you're the prisoner, and you're the key holder all at once. Stop treating your doubts like facts. Stop treating your fears like truth. Stop treating your comfort zone like home. You were built for more. Right here, designed for more, created for more, but you've got to expand your mind to see it and fight your mind to reach it. Every record that's been broken in history was once thought impossible. Right here, every dream that's been realized was once laughed at. Every victory that's been won was once doubted, and the people who made it happen weren't the ones who had fewer limits. Right here, they were the ones who refused to believe the limits they had. Your limits live in your head, and if you keep feeding them, they'll keep growing. But if you starve them with action, if you starve them with discipline, here, if you starve them with belief, they'll shrink, they'll crumble, they'll disappear, and you'll finally see the truth that you've been limitless all along, right here. You just needed to stop listening to the lies in your head and start trusting the power in your soul. Break the mirror, break the chains, because every time you stare into that reflection and see weakness, see failure here, see doubt, see limits, you're looking at the very thing that's been holding you back all along. The mirror doesn't lie about what's on the outside, but it can trap you in illusions about what's on the inside, right here, because what you believe about yourself is what you live. And if every day you look in the mirror and see someone not good enough, not strong enough, not worthy enough, then that belief becomes a chain around your body. Right here, a chain around your mind, a chain around your future. The mirror can become a prison because it only shows you the surface, the scars, the flaws, the imperfections, the weight, the tired eyes, right here. The past mistakes etched into your expression, and if you let it, that image convinces you that's all you are, that's all you'll ever be, and you start living smaller than your soul, smaller than your potential, right here, smaller than your calling. Break the mirror, break the chains, because who you are is not what you see at first glance. It's what you choose to build in the dark. It's what you fight for when nobody is watching. Right here, it's the grind, the sweat, the repetition, the mindset, the soul, the unstoppable that no mirror can capture. Here, every chain holding you back was forged in moments where you let the reflection control the vision, where you let the image of now stop you from becoming what you could be tomorrow. Chains of doubt, chains of insecurity, right here, and chains of comparison, chains of fear, chains of regret. They all get heavier every time you believe that the mirror defines you. But once you decide to smash that idea, to shatter that surface, to destroy the illusion, right here, you realize the chains were never locked. They were always waiting for you to break them. People live decades tied down by what they think they are, not by what they actually are capable of, right? Because the mirror of their mind plays back old failures on repeat. Remember the time you quit, the time you embarrassed yourself, the time they laughed at you, the time you came up short, right here. That's the reflection playing tricks on you, convincing you that your past equals your future, and you wear those chains like they're permanent when in reality they're paper thin if you would just pull hard enough. Break the mirror, break the chains, because greatness begins when you stop seeing yourself as broken and start seeing yourself as building. The mirror might show weakness now, but weakness can become strength. Right here, the mirror might show smallness now, but smallness can become greatness. The mirror might show scars now, but scars can become the proof of survival. When you break that surface, right here, you stop chasing the image and start chasing the vision, because an image is temporary, but a vision is eternal. An image is shallow, but a vision is deep. An image is skin level, but a vision comes from the fire of your soul. Here, think about every chain that's ever held you. You weren't born with them. You picked them up along the way, and you kept them because you thought you had to. Somebody told you you're not talented enough, chain. Here, somebody told you you're too late, chain. Somebody told you you'll never make it, chain. Somebody told you you're not the type, chain. You looked in the mirror and believed them, here. And the reflection became the confirmation of every lie you ever heard. But the truth is those chains can't withstand a decision. They can't withstand a will stronger than steel. They can't withstand a soul on fire. They can't withstand a mind that refuses to bow down. Every time you go against the reflection, you loosen a link. Every time you push harder than you thought you could, you crack another. Every time you reject the lies and build your own truth, you break another. until one day the mirror no longer controls you, the chains no longer bind you, and you realize you've been free all along. Right here, you just had to destroy the illusions that made you think you weren't. Break the mirror, break the chains, because comparison is killing you. You keep looking at your reflection and then looking at theirs. Hey, measuring your chapter 1 against their chapter 20, measuring your behind the scenes against their highlight reel, and every time you do it, you wrap another chain around yourself. You say, I don't look like that. Right here, I don't have that. I don't move like that. I don't live like that. And you make your reflections smaller and smaller, when in reality you were never meant to be them. You were meant to be you, but a stronger, louder, braver version of you. The chains of comparison break the day. You realize the only reflection that matters is the one you choose to create. Break the mirror, break the chains, because fear is another reflection trick. Right here, you see yourself standing there and you don't see power, you see weakness. And so every opportunity feels too big, every challenge feels too hard, every leap feels too far. Right here. But the reflection of fear is just a lie your mind paints to keep you in the same place. You don't see the muscles you haven't built yet, the skills you haven't mastered yet, the courage you haven't unlocked yet. Right here, you only see what's missing, and that missing piece becomes a chain. But fear shatters the moment you act in spite of it. Fear dissolves the moment you step through it. Fear dies the moment you break the mirror that tells you it's bigger than you, because you've always been bigger than fear. You just forgot. Every single time you've ever grown in your life was when you ignored the reflection and chose the fight, when you ignored the image and chose the action, when you ignored the fear and chose the step. Break the mirror. Right here, break the chains, because nothing is heavier than regret, and regret is built one reflection at a time. Every day you look in the mirror and say, not today. I'll wait, I'll try later, I'll start tomorrow. And those tomorrows pile up until years are gone and you're still standing in the same spot, chained to the same excuses, haunted by the same doubts. But the moment you smash the mirror, you smash the cycle. Right here, and when you smash the cycle, you smash the chains. Because the truth is you were never weak, you were never small, you were never broken. You were simply convinced by a reflection that never told the full story. You are not just the image staring back at you. You are the fire behind it, the grind beneath it, the resilience inside it, the unshakable will that no glass, no chain, no light can ever hold forever. Here, and once you choose to break free, nothing can stop you.